It's time for the Washington Post Live Roundtable, presented by Moore Cadillac Hummer.
All right, welcome back to Washington Post Live. This is the Roundtable. I'm Russ Thaler. Joining me, you know, Katie Carrera covers the Caps for the Washington Post. This is Greg Wyshynski, also known as Puck Daddy on Yahoo Sports, and John Keeley, Pucks and Books on Frozen Blog, senior writer from Frozen Blog. Gentlemen, lady, we all watched the game last night. I'm going to start with an email here. This is from Jim, big Caps fan, always emails in the show. It's on our Comcast Triple Play inbox. And Jim says, look, all we're hearing about how Gabby has to make the switch at goaltender is plain panic from Caps fans. Anyone who's a real hockey fan knows that he needs to stick with Jose Theodore because once he uses that bullet from his holster, you can't put it back in. What do you think?
I tend to agree with the email there. I mean, just because I'm a little bit impressed because I've been worried that there are so many people running around saying the sky is falling that they're losing track of the big picture here. But I tend to agree with the email.
Greg?
I think the shot was called last night when Bruce said that if he had taken Theodore out of the game last night, it would have been a point of panic. So you take him out of game two and it's not a point of panic. I mean, you wait a little bit to do that, but by far, though, you cannot be confident after seeing what happened in game one about Theodore.
Are there more prudent moves to be made, John, on the blue line? You know, because Pothier didn't play last night. Alzner is waiting in Hershey. He could come up and play. We saw it wasn't just Theo that had issues last night. There were some other problems.
I don't think you want to overreact after one game. Emotions are really high, and it reminds us that the playoffs are a totally different atmosphere. There is sort of a death feel to a loss in the playoffs that isn't there in the regular season. But these are the guys that got them 108 points, including Jose Theodore, including Jeff Schultz. So, yeah, I think Bruce Boudreau is going to be patient unless Theodore really throws up a stinker on Saturday. and that's what he should do.
Katie, you kind of alluded to it at the beginning of the show, though, as well as the Caps were playing, they just couldn't get through the King in net.
They call him the King for a reason.
No, and they do. And the problem is that a bigger issue than actually Jose Theodore at this point? The fact that the Caps might have sort of thrown their best punch at the Rangers and seen it come right back at them.
I'm curious to see how they respond because, I mean, if they get to the point where they believe that they can't beat Lundqvist, they won't be able to beat Lundqvist because half of that battle is a mental thing. They need to get a little more traffic in front of him, things like that. Talking to Lundqvist after the game last night, he said that there was a little more traffic, but basically what he expected. He wasn't overly burdened with trying to see around screens or anything like that. But I think half the battle is knowing that Lundqvist, while an excellent goaltender, is not going to stop everything. You just have to keep coming at him because they'll get the opportunity.
There were two ways the Rangers were going to win this series. Okay, the first is if it became a Henrik Lundqvist series where you're shooting 85 times into those giant pads and he's stopping everything and all of a sudden he's getting into their heads. And the second thing is if you give their anemic offense a breath of life, as they did with 2 power play goals to the 29th power play in the NHL. You can't do that. That's how you're going to lose the series. Those two things. So the Lundqvist thing, he's a tremendous first-round goalie. You look back at what he did against Atlanta. You look back again what he did against the Devils in the first round. He is a great first-round goalie. He gets into people's heads, and you've got to get him to move. You got to shoot high. And you cannot allow yourself to get frustrated if he starts just stopping shots like he did in the first period.
But so is Jose Theodore.
Yeah, Jose Theodore's a good first-round goal, a really good first-round goal.
4-0, I think, lifetime, right?
And the Caps scored 3 goals last night on Lundqvist. That's not bad.
2 power play goals on the best power play unit in the league. So you want to flip that, you know.
Greg and Katie make good points. 2 things I think indisputably bad happened for the Caps. A poor scoring team scored 4 last night. And, you know, Jose Theodore didn't want to start out bad. And those 2 things happened last night. But again, they've got a couple days here that are off, and they can make some adjustments. Let's see what happens Saturday afternoon.
I think there's a visible. We'll see if Jose Theodore gets the start in game 2. We could see sort of a visible adjustment from him because last night he didn't come. I mean, he's talked about how he didn't come out and challenge his shots. He was deep in the crease, and just how his body language last night. There was no confidence there. And I think if he starts game 2, we'll be able to know pretty quick how he's going to come out.
Is this not the first true playoff test for Bruce Boudreau? Last season, everything was gravy. Now there's a real expectation. They're the higher seed. They're expected to get past the New York Rangers. Is this yet another one of those markers in the young, let's remember, the young NHL head coaching career of Bruce Boudreau?
I think some expectations are a little unfair. There's only a 10-point gap between these 2 teams from the regular season, and the Rangers made real significant changes at the deadline. They added Sean Avery, they added Nick Antropov. they changed coaches. So this is a much different Ranger team than what the Caps faced.
The Capitals are exponentially better than the Rangers.
I agree with Greg
It's not
here.
even on Boudreaux. The players play, the old cliche, the players play the game. They got to win. They have to execute. They have to convert. They got to get Lundqvist moving a little bit, and they have to screen him. And you could just see the mistakes they made last night on the ice, and I don't think Bruce can do anything to fix some of the mental lapses they had with guys falling out and that kind of thing.
Another email on the Comcast Triple Play inbox wants to know from Greg, have you ever thought about changing your name to P Daddy to relate more to the kids?
That'll be the second phase of my career. I'll maybe go P Dizzle, something along those lines. Maybe just Daddy at some point. But no.
All right. Thanks to Greg Wyshynski. He is Puck Daddy from Yahoo Sports. John Keeley, he's senior writer for On Frozen Blog, and of course Katie Carrera.
Russ, I gotta say it's an honor to be here on your last show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for what you've done for hockey in this region. And a lot of hockey fans know about it and appreciate it. Thank you.
You guys are really nice. Thank you. And look, you guys do more, I think, than people realize, and it's been my honor to actually bring that out. And Katie, great addition to the hockey coverage here in the region. All right, we move on. Before